Warm welcome to all of you to ET Now, Progressive Places to Work 2023. My name is Kavya R. Chavali, and I am mighty delighted to welcome you all as we focus on a very pertinent theme where we talk about pioneering progress, the workplace of tomorrow. ET Now, Progressive Places to Work 2023 will also acknowledge and celebrate efforts by signature workplaces on their laudable innovations and evolution with focus on developing employee-friendly culture, building robust tech DNA, or for that matter, setting sustainable environment, and many more. Without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, let's actually begin this program with an interesting dialogue on a very feisty topic, which is everyone deserves a seat at the table. This is where the speakers will be focusing on racing towards a diverse and inclusive future for all.
Could you tell us a bit more about what diversity means in your organizations for you?
Largely, we ask anyone what diversity is, or, when a leader says, let's get a diverse candidate, it's typically a woman, right? So focus is, of course, women, but it doesn't end there. So it's a larger aspect, right? It starts off from having, are we having a safe and an enabling work environment for our LGBTQIA plus community? Is our infrastructure good enough for our PWD, which is people with disabilities, right? Today, what a Gen Z and probably a Gen Alpha, which is going to be coming in, what are they looking forward? They're looking forward for saying, hey, what's your philosophy of the organization? How is your CSR aspect? What is your DEI strategy? So these are some important aspects for them to make a decision of whether to join an organization or not. So these are some really important aspects that we need to start looking at.
Nupur, as we move over to gender, age, religion, probably in terms of LGBTQ, all of this, how do you track if you are moving in the right direction?
One thing that we do is definitely have matrix built around that, and this has been something that we've been doing, and we have made good headway. Having said that, some matrix around how many women are you growing internally, how many women do you have IDP for, and ensuring that you have IDP for 100% women at certain levels and above, or even people from underrepresented communities. Some of those things definitely are matrix that we keep tracking to ensure that we are building sustainable diversity and inclusion in the organization.
That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're now about to give a quick makeover to the stage. We're setting the stage for another conversation, and it's very aptly titled, this is the self-management swag. And the big question as to why does it really matter for a progressive workplace? And with that, let me hand it over to Aditya. Over to you then.
When we talk about self-management, it's something that is increasingly becoming what people consider a critical skill. Why that is happening, what has changed, what is the business context because of which self-management has become such an important thing in recent years.
When we are talking of the self-management, and as our moderator said, self-management swag, is a phase where we are dealing with a multi-generational workforce within the organizations. And we are at a senior level where we have people who are not ready to delegate so much. They have some apprehensions, questions, whether the younger generation would be able to take the lead and take the right decisions or not. And on the other side is the younger workforce who feels that they are confident enough, they are full of energy, they are full of enthusiasm. They want decision making to be with them. They don't want a red tapeism or time-taking decision making. They want it there and then. There some kind of delegation is very much necessary in terms of giving them autonomy to work, decide what they want to do, how they want to work. Also, a flexibility to them to innovate how the work is to be done, to bring in new ways of efficiency if they are more conversant with technology, how to use it. And for organization, it is equally important to tap that youthful energy which they bring to the organization.
Our next focus for discussion is something to do, which is all about rethinking work hours in the 21st century.
If you look at the uncertainty in the job market, productivity decline and number of work hours increasing in a country such as ours. So how are you navigating this change? And this is a question for all three of you.
There are 2-3 things that we are doing. One is, of course, we're giving flexibility to people in terms of choosing their work hours, and also being able to actually say, this time I will not be available and I may not be able to attend a meeting because I have a personal need. However, there is a timeline and you have to achieve that particular timeline. So that's one flexibility that we are offering. Second, to also create that balance, we are also telling people to come 2 to 3 days to work. work. Third is we are trying to offer various programs which help you achieve your personal goals as well at work. So that's what we are doing at this stage.
Yeah, flexibility, I think it's about empowerment to employees to choose. And it's not only about working hours as we speak, it's about several other things as well, whether it's the way you look at pay, the processes, the way your career journey is. So flexibility, I feel, is very broad.
Yogesh, I'll maybe come to you and ask, do you really think flexibility works in your organization? If it does, then how? And how have you implemented it?
Flexibility is more about people should feel in mind that I go to the workplace and I am empowered, I have autonomy, and I have a job to do. If in a factory, manufacturing, I think the flexibility is not as pervasive as possible as you can have in corporates or other roles. So the flexibility, what we can offer to them, you can probably do it through the leadership or supervision to them.
Thank you very much.
Brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone who's gathered over here, because now we're all set for a special address as we talk about well-rested workforce.
So should businesses prioritize sleep is the question. So we agreed it's important, but what are we doing for our employees or setups to prioritize this sleep? So what can leaders, managers, HR heads do? One is just create a very good environment. Environment get a lot of natural light. Allow some natural light, it shuts off that sleep hormone, which is melatonin. It stimulates your well-being hormones, just simple thing like that. Of course, there is a lot of talk about nap rooms and nap pods, but I think just a room where they can relax and ensure that you get healthy food. Hydration is very important. What else? Something more practical. I think education, that employees need to know the importance of sleep. And we have this long working hours. So after hours, please avoid emails, Zoom calls, etc. And what can organizations like us help work together? Yes, we can help design some wellness programs, conduct seminars, workshops, and of course, if there is a disorder, we should pick it up, consult, and treat, so that we can have what is called as a happy workforce. Thank you for your attention.
Now we're about to move forward to another very, very important session. I mean, I really cannot stress enough. We're talking about embracing a work culture that's beyond pronouns. Over to you then.
Speaking of gender pronouns, Keshav, how can organizations actively champion a gender-inclusive workplace?
When we talk about gender and gender norms, at our group, it has been completely the opposite. Because I report to my mother. I have my sisters who are a part of the executive directors and the board. So I have more women in my board and senior leadership than I do men. I think that's a great starting point. What are marginalized people? What are people that are living either on the margins or on the fringes of society? That is a real marginalized person. Why do we call the LGBTQI plus community, the differently abled community, people who are survivors of acid attacks? Because they are living on the margins. If I look at my community, and I'm representing the gay community, married to my husband, who's French, it's legal in France. But if I look at my own journey, privileged or not, because I have to recognize my privilege, however, I still walk in the shoes of a lot of gay men. Privileged or not, we are and continue to be on the fringes and margins. And I'll tell you why. Simple example, I was a petitioner for decriminalizing homosexuality. That was in 2018. In 2023, we're still talking about my fundamental right to legalize my partner in the country we live in. I do think that corporates in India and multinational corporates have pushed a lot of needles. Companies create a world of safety and security. What does our community or any community that is marginalized want? a sense of being heard, a sense of safety, and a sense of security.
It's now time to get up for another very special guest who's managed to join us. We're about to understand more about workforce adaptation through a military lens. In my defense, all I can say is a woman on a mission needs no permission. Please put your hands together to welcome on stage Dr. Seema Rao, Wonder Woman of India and the only woman commando trainer.
Let me tell you that the military is more sterner than the corporate sector. Probably it's because they deal with life and death situations, so everything has to be in place. But I'm sure there are certain protocols, certain principles that can always be borrowed from the military. And besides that, of course, you can tailor-make it to your organization. The first is effort in selecting a QRT. In the army, a lot of money, time, resource is spent only on selecting the right candidates who come into the army. Training. In the army, again, you have the IMA, you have the commando wing, the core battle schools. These are all very good institutions which are meant to train people and then keep upgrading their training skills off and on. Command and control is very important because it's all about the hierarchy of setting protocols. Then there's also the SOPs, which means monitoring, reporting, controlling the op. So even when it comes to a corporate organizations, which you would know best how you could deal with your particular team, training on the same protocols is what sets things in place.
So on that inspiring note, everyone, we are now about to move forward. First up for the launch of the Coffee Table book that features the inspiring stories, the 200 shortlisted organizations. So I'm going to be requesting Dr. Seema Rao to click the button, and then we'll have the launch of the Coffee Table book on the screen. There we go. ET Now, Progressive Places to Work, the Coffee Table book. And with that, everyone, I hope all of you are all set, because this is where we're about to recognize some of the leading progressive places to work. First up, let's hear it for AIPL, Advanced India Projects Limited.
We have an inclusive work culture. The organization values and respect all the diversity and all its team members' views, opinions, well-being. We have best reward and recognition policies in place for our team members. There's a lot of focus going into employee well-being, employee engagement, so that they feel engaged and motivated at the workplace.
With that, let's move ahead and also invite the next organization, Arvind Smart Spaces.
For any organization to become effective and oriented towards growth, etc., one thing which is of extreme importance as per me is to put people at the center of everything you do. End of the day, it's about people. Your consumers are human beings. Your people who are creating your products and services are human beings. And hence, if there is a connect between the two, and if we take care of the human aspects of these two groups, which are the most important groups for delivering and receiving services, I think that's one of the most critical aspects of managing an organization which is growth oriented. Another way to look at it could be that having got great human beings in the team, it's important that as business entrepreneurs, we give enough space to the teams, to people who are working within the organization, and they are empowered to the extent that they can demonstrate their skills, use their skills, and then deliver results.
Well, it's time to invite the next organization. Let's hear it for Broadridge Financial Solutions, India.
I think the conference has been excellent. It provides an opportunity for people to learn, an opportunity for people to share, and also to validate what you're doing is the right thing or not, to be a great place to work.
Let's hear it for Explio.
Diversity and inclusion, is a very important element for various different aspects. It gives us different points of views, perspectives, which actually helps us in delivering value for our customers and also thinking differently, which will actually bring in innovation and different thought processes as well. There is also an element of empathy and others, which actually comes in with differently abled and a different part of society is actually blending in together. Which will help us in building a collaborative and cohesive work environment.
And it's now time to felicitate GAIL, India.
To me, the work-life balance is kind of a myth or a misnomer, because today we are in an organization where we have multi-generational workforce, including the Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and where the expectations of each and every individual are very, very different. The organizations have to focus that they are able to provide enough flexibility in the systems and processes where the individual employees' needs are understood in terms of managing their personal life as well as the responsibilities at the workplace that has been assigned to them.
That's being felicitated as the ET Now Progressive Places to Work 2023. Let's hear it for HDFC Ergo General Insurance Company.
From a strategic leadership perspective, I feel there'll be four major pillars on strategic leadership that will be of importance in the coming year. One will, of course, be how does the community, customer, and employee cohorts experience an organization? The second will be how do organizations prioritize the well-being, whether it is employees' well-being, customers' well-being, or communities' well-being at large. The next will be how do organizations look at creating a purpose for existence, which is beyond just making revenue. And the fourth will be in the strategic leadership, where does financial prudence play or come into being? At HDFC Ergo, we've prioritized technology as well along with these. And our next decade in HDFC is termed as Techade, which is a decade powered by technology. And because we are a service organization, we make sure that our consumers and customers and communities are serviced by providing them a delightful experience.
Let's hear it for IPM India.
Being progressive is the only way to be. And the key is a hand-in-glove employee and business value proposition. At IPM, we not only hire the best, our focus is on constant learning. And this learning is no longer the traditional classroom training. We focus on an OTT approach. It is new age. Come on, we're talking about a multi-generational workforce. We have people from different stratas, different age groups that we are catering to. We make our employees play to win. Whether it is choosing or building your own rewards, or creating your own playbook for success, that's what defines us in our pursuit for progress. We are also known as a place where all employees are seen, heard, recognized, and belong. Simple terms, we put people first.
Moving ahead, let's hear it for JBM Group.
First of all, let us talk about the culture. If the culture of the organization is right, which includes collaboration and teamwork, learning, which involves people, which caters to diversity. So a complete workplace where they have a place for their creativity. They see that they are growing, learning, and their work-life balance is ensured. And there is a diversity and people are respected. So that kind of culture we are building in the organization.
Let's also invite the next organization that's being felicitated, MathCo.
right from the start of the company, we have taken a people first kind of an approach. How do you create an inclusive environment? How do you create, the right environment for every individual? Two is, where you start recognizing every individual in the organization, start understanding their needs, their aspirations, and work towards that. All of it has to start at the top, right? I mean, to become a progressive workplace, it just cannot be an HR initiative.
Let's hear it for NTPC.
We keep on giving training to our employees to keep them ready to face the future challenges. We provide them all the skills which are required to meet those challenges, and also provide them the career growth opportunities so that along with the company, our employees also grow. So that is a strategy NTPC has, and it provides all sort of benefits also, beneficial, with financial, medical, all sort of input, so that our employees are motivated to keep the company going. Thank you.